I'm 91 years old, and I've been living by myself for the past 15 years. When my husband Thomas passed away, everybody around me started fretting. Dorothy, you're going to be so lonely. Dorothy, wouldn't it be better if you lived closer to the children? Dorothy, you really ought to be more social. Well, here we are, 15 years later. I haven't relocated. I don't exactly have a bustling social calendar, and I am absolutely, utterly, gloriously content. I'm not lonely. Truth be told, I never have been. And I suspect there are plenty of people out there just like me. People who are genuinely happy in their own company, but somehow feel defective because society keeps insisting they should be craving more human interaction. So I figured I'd share what I've discovered over these years. 5 practical tips for living alone without succumbing to loneliness. Perhaps they'll be useful to someone out there. The first thing, and this is absolutely crucial, is grasping that being alone and being lonely are not the same thing, not even remotely. You can be alone and perfectly satisfied with your life. You can be in a room packed with people and feel utterly isolated. I've witnessed both scenarios. Loneliness has to do with genuine connection, not physical proximity. It's about whether you feel recognized, comprehended, appreciated. You can get that from a single person you speak with once a week. You can completely miss it at a gathering with hundreds of guests. So the real question isn't, am I spending too much time alone? The question is, do I have meaningful connections in my life? These are fundamentally different questions. I speak with my daughter Susan every Sunday. 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour. That's quite sufficient for me. Some people require more interaction. That's perfectly fine. But don't assume you need people around you constantly just because that seems to be what everyone else wants. Work out what you genuinely need. It might be considerably less than you imagine. Second tip, establish a routine. When you share your living space with others, your day comes with built-in structure. Shared meals, conversations, the natural rhythm created by someone else's schedule. When you live alone, you have to construct that framework yourself. Otherwise, the days simply melt into one another and you lose track of time. I get up at 7 o'clock every morning. I make myself tea. Same mug, same tea blend, same armchair by the window. I watch the birds visiting my feeder for about 20 minutes. Then I go through the newspaper. Then I have my breakfast. I suppose it sounds rather dull, but it isn't. It's anchoring. It's a way of announcing that today is a legitimate day with its own distinct character. When Thomas was alive, I always prepared dinner at 5:30 because that's when his appetite kicked in. After he died, I discovered I wasn't actually hungry until 7 o'clock most evenings, so I adjusted accordingly. That felt remarkably liberating, actually, discovering my own natural rhythm instead of synchronizing with someone else's. If you live alone, you get to make these decisions. That's not loneliness. That's autonomy. And there's something rather delightful about eating dinner at whatever hour you please without having to negotiate about it. Third tip, have something that depends on you. For me, it's my cat, Beatrice. She's 11 years old, exceptionally particular about things, and she expects her breakfast at precisely 7:15. If I'm running behind schedule, she makes her displeasure abundantly clear. Cats have a remarkable talent for making you feel guilty without saying a single word. It doesn't have to be a pet. It could be houseplants, a vegetable garden, birds you provide seed for, something that's alive and relies on you appearing consistently. It gives you a reason to climb out of bed even on those mornings when you'd rather not bother. And there will be mornings you'd rather not bother. Having something that counts on you, that genuinely helps. I also maintain a bird journal. Every bird that visits my feeder gets recorded in a notebook. The date, the time, the species, how many showed up. It might seem rather trivial, but it gives me something to anticipate, something to observe. When you live alone, you need things to direct your attention toward. Otherwise, the world becomes too hushed, and you end up trapped inside your own thoughts going round in circles. Fourth tip, and this might strike you as odd, be selective about people. When you live alone, your social energy is finite. You can't squander it on people who exhaust you or relationships that amount to little more than background noise. I have 3 close friends. Patricia from church. We've known each other for 60 years now. Janet from my book club. And my neighbor Elizabeth, who's 84 and also lives by herself. That's the complete list. 3 friends I genuinely want to speak with, who truly understand me, who I'm sincerely happy to see. That's worth considerably more than 20 acquaintances I have to put on a performance for. I used to feel rather guilty about this, as if I should desire more friends, more activities, more social engagements. But I've come to understand that quality trumps quantity every time. One authentic conversation is worth 10 polite exchanges. One friend who really knows you is worth 20 who merely recognize your name. If you're naturally introverted, give yourself permission to maintain a small circle. There's absolutely nothing deficient about that. In fact, it's rather sensible when you think about it. Why exhaust yourself trying to maintain friendships that feel like work? Last tip, and this is the crucial one. You have to genuinely enjoy your own company. Because when you live alone, you're with yourself constantly. If you can't tolerate being around yourself, living alone is going to be utterly miserable. If you can appreciate your own company, it's absolutely wonderful. This realization took me quite a long time to reach. I spent years thinking I was too reserved, too dull, too much of a homebody. I'd compare myself to gregarious people and feel as though I was getting life completely wrong. I wasn't. I was simply living life differently, and differently isn't wrong. It's just different. I enjoy reading. I enjoy my tea in the morning. I enjoy observing birds and stroking my cat and turning in early. I don't enjoy parties. I don't enjoy superficial chit-chat. I don't enjoy being busy simply for the sake of appearing busy. And at 91, I've finally stopped apologizing for any of that. It's quite liberating, actually, though I do wish I'd figured it out about 40 years earlier. If you're living alone and finding it difficult, ask yourself this. Are you struggling because you're genuinely lonely? Or are you struggling because you believe you should be lonely? These are entirely different problems. The first one requires connection. The second one requires permission. Permission to be satisfied with a quieter existence than society insists you should want. I miss Thomas. I truly do. 47 years is a substantial amount of time to share with someone, and there's an empty chair at the table that never stops being empty. But missing someone isn't the same thing as being lonely. I carry him with me. I think about him every single day. And I also have a complete life without him. A different life than when he was here, certainly, but still full, still meaningful. My children worry that I'm isolated. I understand their concern, but I'm not isolated. I'm simply quiet. I have my routine, my cat, my books, my birds, my 3 friends. I have Sunday telephone calls with Susan and visits from the grandchildren at Christmas. I have enough. More than enough, actually. I dare say I have exactly what I need, which is perhaps the best anyone can hope for. Some people are built for solitude. I'm one of them. Perhaps you are as well. And if you are, I want you to understand there's nothing whatsoever wrong with you. You're not defective. You're not lacking something everyone else possesses. You're simply wired for quiet, and quiet can be a remarkably good life if you allow it to be. So, 5 tips to remember. Understand the difference between being alone and being lonely. Establish a routine. Have something that depends on you. Select your people carefully, and make peace with yourself and who you are. That's everything I've learned. It's time for my afternoon tea now. And Beatrice is staring at me as if I've already spent far too long talking. Take care of yourselves.